Good evening all. Welcome to the BATC Thursday Evening Net. So far I have GI4DOH. Good evening Richard, you'll be on first, followed by Mike G0MJW, Colin G4KLB. I wonder who else is coming up. I saw a brief test card from Roger. I wonder whether you're joining us. Okay, I have GW7BZY and G3IUZ. Good stuff. That's 5 so far. So, a fairly busy BATC week. Had a committee meeting last night, so I had a few things about rally representation and the like. What's going on coming up? Well, this weekend, some of you may have noticed the Dutch are having an RBTV activity weekend on 50 megs and 146. And they're actually having another one on the 20th and 21st of August. We are most likely having a BATC 50 meg ATV contest on that date, 20th, 21st of August. So there's one for the 50 megas amongst you. Next activity weekend is the 14th and 15th of May, so some way off, but that's a good time to practice for the contest on the 11th, 12th of June. Good evening to you, Martin. So I will put it, without further ado, straight round to Richard. GI4DOH to take it, G8GKQ and the BATC Net.
G8GKQ with the BATC Net. This is GI4DOH, and turn my volume down. You caught my by surprise putting me on first. Good evening, Dave and everybody else. I'm still just working around. I hadn't quite got to zoom in things in there, so I'll sort that out in the next over. You'll probably see enough of me as I am. I missed last week because of our local club meeting. It's nice to have real meetings again, and indeed I was at the GMDX convention in Stirling at the weekend. That was very good to have a real meeting with real people and all the rest of the a bit of a vacuum, sort of been back home and almost into lockdown because I've got nowhere else to go at the moment. But things like Blackpool coming up and all the rest, there are other things in the coming months. Main activity in the last couple of days has been, I'm getting confused here because of the latency, just rearranging things in the shack. This wide shelf used to be down where this narrow shelf is, and it sort of obstructed my view of the monitor in front of me, and also made it a wee bit difficult to get. There's an FT847 there, and I haven't got used to the fact that the camera's up on the shelf. Now I'll get back to that. So still to rearrange cameras, and the idea was to make things a bit more presentable in the shack here. So I'm working on it. It's amazing. I had a 12-volt power supply that I faithfully switched on every Thursday night in getting ready for the BATC Net, but it wasn't actually connected to anything that it wasn't connected to anything at all. Just over the mists of time, I just forgot what was connected to what. So I've had an opportunity to have a clean sweep here, and I've got a bit more space. A few things have been packed away because they're not being used. There's no point in being in prime space. So that was all good fun and kept me occupied, kept me out of harm's way. So enough waffle from me for one over. I think it's round to Mike G0MJW with the BATC Net. This is GI4DOH.
Right, hopefully I've got some sound. If not, sorry. But, maybe I've got too much sound. Let me just try adjusting it a bit. There we go. That's the view out the window here. Just checking the sound is there. Yep, good, it is. Just get the gain. Yeah, I did 10 dB just before the net because I thought it was a bit low, but 10 dB was a little bit too much. But what it was before was a bit too small. So there you go. Anyway, that's the view out the window here. So I shall come to another picture in a second, which is me, to show you that I'm not in the normal place. But like Richard, I have been rearranging the shack. Only not the one here, the one back in Oxfordshire. And I'll have to show you that next time. It's a little bit of a better layout, but there you go. I haven't got a lot to show really because I'm not doing anything, but I'm enjoying being up here. And one of the advantages of being in a location like this is you're quite high up, as you can probably tell from that picture. That's the view roughly south, not quite south. The local vegetation is hiding the horizon, but it's quite a long way away. It's about 50 miles before you see the horizon. Alderley Edge now. What's that place called? Cannock Chase, I think it is the next hill that I can see in the distance, and that's about 50 miles away. So works okay for VHF, although my antennas seem to have not survived particularly well for being left up here unattended for 10 years. I have been using them, but I've not been able to do any maintenance on them for a long time. So next time I'm up here for a longer period, in the summer maybe, I'll see if I can fix those and then maybe get back to doing interesting things. Anyway, there's not a lot to show, so I'll pass it on as well, just saying hello really. And who's it next? Oh, it's G4KLB. I'm sure Colin can make up for my short QSO. G4KLB, G0MJW.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. Make sure that. Okay, thanks. Oh, there we are. That's working. Excellent. Good. There we go. Very good evening. Yeah, I wasn't on last week because I was on the late shift, but now we're on the early shift, so you can play radios. I've had some trouble with this camera. It might fail because it's been on for quite a long time now. Because I've just done obviously an hour on SQ. I'm not sure what it is. It's a C930 that sometimes isn't recognised and other times fails halfway through. I don't know if it's the camera itself or something or another. But anyway, I'm using it to see if it does fail. I've been having some lip sync issues. I've been trying to work on that a little bit because I want this same computer does streaming into SQ usually, like via the stream, so I can't adjust the audio delay in that. But I think it's somewhere near now, or it was it was an hour ago. I haven't. I've had the F6 EJP running for 2 hours now, and the Pluto has just been on transmit for 2 hours. So hopefully it's well, it's obviously still going. But let's have a. I'll just have a quick. I think it's okay. It may not be spot on, but it's acceptable. Whereas before it was unacceptable. It was a long way out. But that seems to be okay. Whereas using the same technique on this new Pluto here, which is the newer version, revision C or D, depending what bit of it you look at, seems to not go so well. But I don't know if it's because it's on a faster PC. That might be significant. But oh yes, I've got this in a box, by the way. Yeah, I've got a Pluto in a box now, and the latest thing I've done to this is I've added fiber optics to the LEDs that are on board. because obviously that box is longer than than a Pluto. So and I was a bit annoyed I couldn't see the LEDs, so I put fibre optics on there. I won't bother plugging it in. They just light up like LEDs, really. So there we are. So that's good. So I'm thinking, shall I move the LEDs off the board, because they're little tiny surface mount ones, and I thought I don't really want to disturb the board. So I've just put little fibre optic pipes in there, and that works quite well. So that was interesting. What else we've been doing? I don't know if it was the last time I was on. I was showing the I'd built another AMSAT driver, which is what I'm using at the moment, AMSAT driver. But I built another one because I've got another you've probably seen this one. This is Spectrum driver, which I'm going to use portable. So I've got that one done. So he's all done. I think I've already shown that one. I've also built, if that doesn't work, I've built you may have seen this one as well, I'm not sure. This is Jim's design, actually. It's just in a bigger box. It's in one of these casement ones. It's quite a big box. But you know what I'm like for heat sinking. I may get away without fans, but it's probably unlikely. But it's a chunky old thing. It's a chunky old thing. So this is one of the 300 watt ones. It won't run 300 watts, obviously, but not for TV. But yeah, so that's good to go. That one. So we built that. That's ready for testing. That's completely finished. So is this driver. So I'm hoping to get away with this because this runs off of 12 volts, which is convenient for portable use. So we're hoping to have a go on QO100 portable, because I've got a demonstration station to do fairly soon. And so I had to build another AMSAT driver because I didn't want to take anything out of the shack, which you've probably all seen, but there was no enclosure for it. So I've got some pictures, I think. I'll try and be fairly quick with this. I'll probably cut off the other things I was going to do and save it for the next time, I think. So yeah, there they are. So what I've done there is I've just in time-honoured fashion, I've just built an enclosure out of PCB material. So that is and it's worked out rather well. So I've done both of them, so that the one that is on my desk now, which is very often nestled up to a mini tuner or two, liable to short out, is now encased a bit. So there we are. So that's actually probably shaky cam if I'm quick. I'll probably have to cut off at this point because take a whole hour really. Shaky cam. There we are. So yeah, quite pleased with how that turned out. I must have been happy with it because I actually put some PCB lacquer on it, as you can probably see. Because when you make stuff out of PCB material, it goes horrible colour after a while. So that is quite. I was quite pleased with those actually, considering they only take a short time to actually put together. So I just put some hex pillars on there instead of the screws that come. I drilled and tapped these M3, so I was able to replace them with the hex pillars and then just screw into it. So that was that. Right, okay. I got loads of other things, but I think that'll probably do because there's a few people yet to come, aren't there? Really. So let's that'll be enough, I think. Right, okay then. So over to Wales. GW7BZY to take it. G4KL on actually loads and loads and loads.
Am I in? Okay, thank you. Am I in? Yes, I am, and I've got lots of audio as well. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Colin. GW7B did well. I've not done much amateur television, to be fair. I've been talking the bands, talking to Gary in South Africa, had a good QSO with him. That's about it, really. Working on the back garden, so haven't had much chance for amateur television. Or the weather hasn't been very good. Two things, really. And really, the system seems to be working at the moment. It might, any further development may take a back seat for a while until I get a little bit bored with it just operating and then want to do something differently, but I doubt it for a while. We've got some DVB-T. I think Chris is finally getting the local repeater together, and hopefully be able to play DVB-T through that on 2 megs, which would be quite good. And with this free DV coder, I might be able to send H.265 into it. I don't know. I don't quite know yet. Via UDP into the transmitter. I don't know. But anyway, that's about it this side. Just saying good evening and hello to everybody and just showing my face. I don't know who's going to be next. It's G3IUZ. Good job, Collins, here to pad it out. But I'm having it round, and I'll say good evening to everybody else that's been on previously. GW7BY over to G3IUZ. If I can find the...
Right, well, good evening. Thank you very much. I'm afraid I can't remember the name, but from GW7BZY. But anyway, greetings all. Let's find the camera a moment. There we go. Right, well, sorry to miss the last couple of weeks, but been busy mainly on building the Ryde. Despite the frustration of not being able to find some of the components, and I gathered from Dave, who was very helpful at one point, that some were more necessary than others. The main problem, I think, for me was the power supply components for building it. Let me see, the OKR T 1.5 and the 3 amp ones for the 5 volts, 3.3 and 1.1 volt supplies for that. So the delivery times on those look like sometime next year, from what I can see of it, from looking at Farnell and radio spares and so on. There are some in the States at ridiculous prices, but I decided to hack my own. And if we go on to the other camera a moment, just a second, with a bit of luck. There we are. It's all just sort of bare at the moment. There is the those of you who are very familiar. There is the Ryde just sitting on the worktop, and you'll see that the 3 power supply units that should be sitting in these soldered here. I've just got some ribbon, and this is just a hack to give me the necessary volts. You'll have to forgive the very crude basic mains to 12 volts. But looking at the output from that, it's remarkably clean. Quite extraordinary. You'd have thought it would have been pretty mucky, but it isn't. So I was given the confidence, and then just a DC to DC converter there, producing 5 volts from the 12, and then a couple of I can't remember the name. The same as they're used in the mini tuner. One's giving 3.3 with a bigger heatsink on it, and the other's giving the 1.1. And that all seems to work very satisfactorily, and I must say it all worked first time. Once I got a handle on the software. I'm afraid the old grey cells are a bit slow on the uptake these days, so that took me a little bit of getting to grips with the software. I think I've got more or less all of it okay now. It's all working very fine on the Raspberry Pi HDMI screen, so no problem there. It's just I was trying to get to grips with the AnyHub and the Anywhere concepts using the receipt, seeing if I could monitor the Winter Hill on the PC. Now, I've been struggling with that on the ordinary PC, and in the end, I fired up my old Mac with Boot Camp on it, running Windows 10, and that's gone no problem at all. So I think it must be some sort of problem with on the firewall, but I can't see what it is. So the odd thing is I can see the coding on the top of each screen from the Winter Hill changing when I use the quick tune, but no pictures ever appear. Whereas on the Boot Camp on the Mac, it all works as per. So I'm very puzzled by that. So if anybody can shed light on what I'm missing or what I'm doing wrong, that I can't see the output from when it's running AnyHub, I'd be interested to know that. Not that it's vital, but just it's one of those things that would be nice to get going as the facility is there. And the other thing, of course, Dave, when are we going to get the other NIM? I've only got one NIM, so I've only got 2 channels, of course. I think the forum is saying hopefully in May, so I wonder if there's any sort of update on that when you're expecting delivery. But please put me down for one. I don't know whether you're taking future orders, but no doubt you'll let us know when they've arrived, and hope there's enough to go around. Right, that's more than enough for me. It goes to you, Martin. So it's one Somerset station to another, and some nice pictures. I've seen your test signals today, Martin, G8KOE, and lovely pictures. It's really working a treat. So I did give you a shout on the chat channel on 144750, but you obviously didn't have your receiver on. So to Martin, G8KOE, I hope I've got that right. Yes, that's it. So let's put the test card up again, if I can find the right.
Right, I think we've made it. Still testing the Polycom setup, which is what I'm running at the moment. Let's kill the sound so I don't get any feedback. It's been a bit of a nightmare at times, going around in circles. I've increased the lighting in the shack. Find the cameras needs a bit more lighting, and as my lounge stroke shack is not the lightest of places, but it seems to be basically working. It seems to be differences between certainly what Mike's got with regards to the white balance. I don't get any in the menu side of things to be able to adjust the white balance, and the camera is not recognised, but it works. I don't know, anyway, I'm stuck with AZ at the moment. The remote works, so it sort of works. The Zoom seems to work reasonably well, so I think we can go on, focus in. There you go. That seems to do its thing. Let's go back to preset 1. That's sort of signed up. I've got a cat in the background that's scratching at the carpet because she's expecting sort of food. I've been playing with my second PA as well, which I've got some bias problems on that, and I couldn't find what the fault was on the actual board. And going to put some external bias in. I was removing some of the chip components, thinking odd ones were faulty, and they proved they weren't faulty. And it's a nightmare sort of working on that sort of thing. So I'm cheating on that one. I'm going to do a bit of external bias. I was playing with the virtual cam, but I must admit, and the free stream coder, but I must admit I've given up at the moment and gone back to my original setup. I find the audio syncing just drives me insane when you're trying to whip between doing a bit of streaming 1 minute and into SQ or whatever, and come back to it. Anyway, I've gone back to the record outfit, which I find works for me. I know Mike said it's rubbish, but that's what I'm using. What else was I going to comment on? I can't think of anything else really. I could let's go over to the other camera briefly. It says, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong things. Let's transfer to that, and that's the one that's wanting me to sort of food out, I think. So I ought to really go. She's quite patient, but she sort of scratches at the carpet. She rules. There she is looking. But she's not a well cat. She's an old cat, and it's usually quite often I end up not being able to make it. But right, I should think that's at least I've made two weeks in a row, which is something for me. And sort of watching SQ, I'm getting used to the waffle mode, I think. Well, let's find the other camera. I did also play with another camera, which is that one, which is quite good, I must admit. I'm quite happy with that one. That gives it another different view, and the colour is possibly better. Definition probably not as good as the Polycom, but there's a difference in obviously colour sort of side of things. Anyway, it's round to Jim, I think, next, G0DQH, so we'll stick on a test card and show it across, and I can go and feed the cat from G8KE.
Just check Uncle Audio. Just check Uncle Audio. Yeah, good. Okay. Gosh, I haven't spoken to you, Martin, for ages. So I wonder where you've been. I was hoping to run this Polycom camera tonight, but we were in Winchester today, and Mo decided that she wanted to go into the supermarket, into Sainsbury's, because they had some cheap meat in there, or cheaper. So she came out with a couple of pieces of beef and pork. So it made us late getting home, and 10 minutes before, the post office tried to deliver the camera. So I have to wait now until Saturday when we can actually get in there and pick it up. So we've been quite busy here actually, mainly doing the garden, and I just had the panels replaced down the right hand side of the rear of the garden, and I'll just bring that picture up, and had the wooden post taken out and
concrete posts put in place. If you're going to do this, they last longer, these concrete posts, but the panels sit in between them, so they rattle in the wind. But they make these little plastic bungs that you tap into the grooves, and it stops them rattling. And also, I wanted to put the blackberry plant back against the fence, as you can see down in the left-hand corner. And a company called Rivelin Glen Products make these clips that actually clip around the concrete posts and sit in the grooves, partly in the grooves. And they've got holes, and you can actually pass the wire through, and that's what I've done all the way down through. So I've got another picture as well. So that's not one. There we go. This is another shot of the bottom of the garden. Thank you. Come on. Don't know what's going on there, but okay, let's go to the other one then. Oh, settled down now. So you see the tree, the crabapple trees all in blossom, which is nice. And the other picture is the one that you've probably seen already on the before, which is the dish on the left-hand side of the garden. So it's way out of the way of the house, right down the bottom of the garden. You can see the thick cracks running back towards the shack, or rather towards the garage, because I run this the PA remotely from the shack. That's a bit it, I think, from me. I won't be back the next time, if you don't mind. I've got rather a lot of things to do. We're having a new front door and new windows put in with special glass, so it's also soundproofing glass rather than triple glazing. So they call it acoustic glass, and that's happening next Tuesday. So we've had to take the blinds down and the curtains to get all of that ready. So I'll say good evening to everybody, and go back up to the camera. There we go. That one. And hopefully I'll see you all next week. This is G0DQH, located halfway between Southampton and Winchester in Chandlersford. Very good evening to everyone, and I'll see you all next week. I will be watching until the end of the overs.
Right, that's looking promising. It is indeed. Okay, thanks, James. G0DQH. This is G4XAT. Okay, get rid of the test card. Now, somebody commented on Tuesday that my picture was much better from my mere old laptop. It doesn't look too bad to me. Bit blurry in the background perhaps, but it's only 333. Comments welcome. I'll give it some thought and check my settings, but as far as I can tell, it's all okay. Right, okay. Well, I'll Some of you know I had fun on Sunday, out Portugal. Let me just find the pictures of that and bore you with us again. Okay, I operated from Burton Dasset Hills, and in the distance there you can see the Malverns, where my compatriot Dave G4FRE was receiving and transmitting on the various bands we played with. And I have to say, a good time was had. We started on 77s, no trouble at all, and then progressed to 3.4, which we'd previously proven. I was able to do various tests there that proved that my B-Sky mini dish with a bi-quad feed did work. It was 10 dB down on those smaller flat plates that you can see on the right hand side in that picture. They were 10 dB better, so it worked, but it's not worth pursuing. Then I tried a double bi-quad, and that was also 10 dB down on them, so it's useful to have, but not that useful, I suppose you could say. That was a portable station, wedged off the roof rack, 77s up the poles, and 23 cents flat plate, as in the latest CQTV underneath it. We didn't get to try that band, in fact. Ran out of time and so on. That's a close-up of the receive on 5.7. A bit of a cobble together, but I have to say it works incredibly well. Details available if you want. And then we tried 5.66 FM, and not surprisingly, with the power levels we were using, that was a P5. And nice to see this sort of FM noise again, as opposed to picture, no picture, or a negative MER number. And it's very easy to pick up on, of course, quick with no real delay. So there's life in there yet. Okay, I was spending time with my son on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We basically put a new second-hand engine in his kit car. This is the top end of it. It's done 65,000 miles, and as you can see, it's clean as a whistle inside. So we're very pleased with that purchase. Not that you can buy them new anywhere. That's my pear tree this morning, in full blossom. Don't like the smell of pear blossom, but it's very prolific this year. Hopefully the winds in the summer don't knock all the fruit off as they've done for the last couple of years. Okay, tulips. My favourite pair of tulips, or set of tulips rather, are out. I don't know if anybody knows if tulips revert to this colouring, but we bought some from Amsterdam many years ago, and they've all ended up this colour. They were sold as different colours. Whatever, close up, beautiful things. And that's my vegetable plot, which I've been working on today. I've got some stuff in for the new season, and that one appears to be working okay. Let's see what that's saying. The image is soft. Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, it might be Mike. I've no idea where to find that, but I'll have a look. I'm using OBS, so I'll have a rummage through the menus there, and then come back next time. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Put my picture up. Okay, that's enough for me. The fan is on its second speed, so that means I've been on too long. Is Keith ready? Let's have a look. Just got in, shout I'm ready. No, don't think he is. Right, okay, round to you then, Dave. G8GKQ to pick it up from G4XAT and the BATC Net. Over.
G4XAT and the BATC Net, G8GKQ, yeah. Right, Gareth, I would say It's a lot softer than your pictures on Tuesday, and I think it's something to do with C920 into OBS, because your caption that says C920 is a lot sharper than the image. However, the caption that says file on your slides is very very soft, so don't know, but I would suspect the C920 into OBS. Certainly, I'm watching it on a 1080 monitor, and it's definitely very sharp, very soft. Other comments? Roger, there is no need to worry about not getting a tuner. We have 400 on order. They are actually in transit from China to UK. And beyond that, we can't give you an estimate. It looks like it's going to be longer than usual, but they are in transit from the factory to us. So they'll go in the shop as soon as they're available, along with NIMS, but you won't need NIMS for the Winter Hill, which you're building, which you referred to as a Ryde. We are looking at other alternatives to get the NIM out of the circuit, but there's going to be a while before anything's ready on that front. But good to see you've got it up and running. What have I been doing here? Well, on the software front, I've been Colin G4EML has updated his Portsdown 4 to drive a Lime RFE. Now, those of you who've received Radcom will have seen the Lime RFE that looks something like that. They don't all look like that one because that's a prototype. That's not the production model. But John G4BAO did a review of it in Radcom. Updating the Portsdown 4 to drive one. Portsdown 2020 does after a fashion, but the Portsdown 4 drive will be better. Yeah, Mike, the layout is slightly different of yours, I think, in the detail, but it looks like that. So that's what I've been doing on software. But the main activity has been hardware. First of all, the 5-inch Portsdown has actually got the Raspberry Pi inside the box now. So the Raspberry Pi is a bit like Mike's, with the a hole for the Raspberry Pi connectors there, hole there for the 25-way, which isn't populated yet, and space for the rest of what I'm going to do. It's in the planning phase and just seeing how stuff fits into the box. But that's coming along. But the big project is this fella. It's just a base at the moment and a back. That's actually the back panel that you can see on there. On the front, there'll be a sloping panel with 2 7-inch screens on the front and 2 Portsdowns inside. And basically, it's my portable Portsdown. So that one on receive, one is a receiver and the other does band viewer, so you can see what's going on. And on transmit, one transmits and the other monitors the transmitted signal to make sure nothing stupid's going on. So lots of metal bashing to do on that before I even get to the electronics. But that's the current project. What else? I think that's all the comments, actually. I don't know whether Keith is ready yet. Put some mesh over the screens or never receive anyone on 2 meters. Yes, yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons it's going into a metal box. Is to try and put a start on making things screened. Because currently, when I'm out portable, I use this. This is a LimeNet Micro, all open, and if I stand in the right place, I can reduce the screening, reduce the radiation, but the aim of the metal box is to be able to get the radiation almost down to nothing. So that's the plan. Right. With that, then I'll put it back round to Richard. GI4DOH and the group G8GKQ.
G8GKQ with the group GI4DOH. Yeah, fine and all that, Dave. Metal bashing is probably my weakest thing in all the things that I do with radio at the moment. I just haven't got haven't got the skill, equipment, or anything like that to do anything other than sort of buy die-cast boxes and drill holes in them. Actually, making boxes is something that I would like to do at some stage. Just the very bending metal and all the rest of a lot to learn about that. But possibly over the years, I'm fairly new into that sort of end of amateur radio, as opposed to sitting down just operating a black box piece of equipment, actually into making things. So plenty of room for improvement on my part there. And I think it was Colin mentioned your sort of ruggedized Pluto. That's the one I put a Pluto in this box a couple of years ago. Actually, I may have mentioned it before, because of the box being slightly smaller than needed and the Pluto being slightly oval shaped. I filed a bit off each side and it stopped working, and it took a lot of judicious, very, very fine emery paper and then an eraser rubber to remove every trace of metal filings or anything before the Pluto worked again. So it sealed up the edges of the board with nail varnish, and it's doing the job okay. But that's what you get for being clever. This thing about Polycom, I've heard everybody talking about it and all the rest, and I felt obliged to get involved myself in that. So I've got a camera, I've got the sort of control unit, and I've got a remote control which I put batteries in for the first time tonight. All three items came from separate places. There are a few dots on the screen there, and it doesn't seem to be talking to the controller, so I think that's going to go back. So, I've hit a brick wall, at the very start, but perseverance. So I'll get there eventually with that. I find it, James, I like your sunny garden. It's one of the things with the AME stuff. It's only just as we get into the year that I'm starting to get a bit of sunlight in the back garden, and hope to be able to measure sun noise and all the rest. But I took a chainsaw to my crabapple tree right back in January, which is a wee bit early in the year, but it was a sunny day and we don't get that many of those, and it seems to have survived okay. And your pear tree, Gareth, seems quite nice as well. Just have the crabapple and the hawthorn tree is enough to provide a bit of cover with the neighbours at the back. So that's about it from me. I think nothing else at this end. Just checking that Keith hasn't come up with anything. So I think we're still on the Keith's going to be after Mike. Okay, I still haven't learned to multitask, to read the screen and waffle at the same time. So on to Mike, G0MJW with the BATC group. This is GI4DOH.
Okay, thank you, Richard. I think I've got the sound, so I'll just mute myself so I don't get feedback. All very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing out and show you a few things. This is the Polycom webcam for those who haven't seen them, and they're back on eBay, at least they were. Don't know if there's any left. And I've got to pass it on to Keith after me, so don't let me forget that, anybody. Right, so onto this thing. As you can see is showing various things in the room. So firstly, this is my version of the box that Dave was showing with the 5-inch, oh, it's not in focus, is it? Sorry, that's better. With the 5-inch screen. I had hoped that this would actually stop the 2-meter interference, but it doesn't. Hardly dents it. So I'm going to try and put some mesh over it or something, or find some way to fix that for portable work. For Colin's benefit, here is my ruggedized Pluto with 2 holes drilled to show the lights. And there is the Polish PA with the 50 volt LTEC on it, and it's taking 5 amps and it drops over time, so I need to up the power a bit perhaps, just to get a little bit more out of it again. So let me just do that. Oops, that's probably a bit too much. Let's hope that doesn't explode. So that's what I'm using in this temporary location. But this thing here does really cause problems with the 2-meter interference. I could turn the 2-meter rig on, but just believe me, it does cause a problem. Right, okay, so that's the shaky camera work out of the way, and it probably didn't look very good at half-rate coding, so sorry about that. But Gareth, your issue with the camera, so I'll try and do it with this one and show you what I'm doing. Here we go. So, can you see the screen? So I'm going to click on the camera, and then you click on configure video, and you get to change all these things. And I notice, for example, mine is set to 60 Hz, not 50, so I'll set it to 50. I don't think it'll make any difference on this one, but there you go. But in there you might have the focus, camera control. You can set exposure and focus and things. Well, you can on some cameras. This one actually you can't, but you can on the Polycom and you can on the C920. So if you've not got those set right, then maybe that's the issue. The other possibility is you've got the resolution set to something really poor and low. Set to auto. Okay, right. So it wasn't that then. Well, you do. It does seem very soft. So check the resolution isn't set. Ooh, sorry, audio's up to 11 now. Set the resolution is not set to something too high, because that could be the other problem. Right. With that, I guess it's round to Keith. So GU6EFB. Over to you. Hopefully the PC will come up. G0MJW.
hang on. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my my tune has jumped to something else. Sorry, there we are. That's got it. Oh dear, an Italian station just got in there. It went off on one. Right, that's usually it's been very good actually up until that point. But no matter. Yeah, I got Keith all the time. Actually, got Keith all the time. But unfortunately, I didn't get any audio. But very good pictures indeed. I didn't when you were testing. We probably didn't have any audio on, or maybe you did. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's frustrating when that happens, isn't it? Really, that's why I have a tendency to have a listen. I have to have a listen to mine in case it's happened to me a few times. But there we are. And then to Roger, yeah, the mini tune, the Winter Hill is perfect for QO100 work actually. That's what I made. Well, that's all I used it for actually. Is QO100. So if we go to shaky cam, this is how mine is arranged, and so I'm using the same as you, Rob's quick tune, but I also like to use his other program here, which is the Winter Hill Viewer, for other purposes than. The official one is good if you want to watch streams and things like that. It's very good for that indeed. But I generally one Winter Hill is enough. I've got two Winter Hills running here at the moment, but most of the time, at the minute we've actually got 4. So if I put on number 8 and put number 8 on the beacon. Then I don't know if the beacon's broken. Looks like it probably is. Yeah, the beacon's broken. Okay, that's a frustrating thing, isn't it? Really. Hopefully they'll get that arranged at some point. I know it must be frustrating for them. But most of the time, one Winter Hill is sufficient. That's why I spotted Keith pop up there. You see, on a different frequency where he was just testing in advance of coming on, so that works very well. But that suits me. You can go full screen, on any one. I have to come back for that. But you can go full screen, so it's pretty cool. And then just click away from it, and then she goes back in. So yeah, excellent program from Rob, that one. I quite. Oh, there's Keith. Oh, there you are. Let me see if you've got any audio, shall I? Let me see now. There's Keith there. Look, there he is. But I'm not getting any audio yet, Keith. For some reason, no, nothing at all. I'm afraid. I've turned the volume up, and I've got individual volume controls here. Now, I don't know why that's not working, Keith. I can see on OBS here, VU meters moving up and down, isn't it? Really. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. Frustrating. I think you had that trouble once before, wasn't it? It's usually they reboot everything and start again. It's one of those crazy things, isn't it? Really, very frustrating. I know, Keith. But there we are. I'm not quite sure why. Not quite sure what's going on there. It's difficult sometimes to sort that out. I'll leave that volume up in case he comes up, because then I'll shout if it does work. Because very good pictures. Oh, hang on. That's a soundtrack from you. That is working, Keith. That is working. Oh, and I can hear your mic now. I think if you say something, I think you.
Okay, where did all my audio go?
Yeah, it's back now, Keith. It's back now.
Okay, where did all my audio go?
Yeah, it's working now. Yeah, working now, Keith. There we go. That's it. Excellent. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he's got it fixed. You can probably hear that through my microphone. But yeah, working now, Keith. In case he may not be watching that. Right, okay. Hopefully you'll see that message. I was thinking we was in a duplex QSO for a minute, but obviously not. Need a Winter Hill, that's what you need. There we are. Oh, that's okay. So we got a bit of VLC hanging on to that last bit. Just knock that back a bit. Right. Okay. So what else we've been up to in here? Various things. Yeah, I was just showing the Winter Hill. It's got Keith's last thinking that I'll turn that down because I don't know. Right. And the latest thing I've been building is this, which doesn't take a lot of. It's not really building; it's putting together really. Portsdown 4, a lime in a fancy enclosure. That's all that is. A lime in a fancy enclosure, and an easy cap of sorts. And this is set to boot up on startup on 1304 as a the beginnings of perhaps reduced bandwidth for GB3 SQ. So this was just I just threw this together, and it's all working. It'll need it'll need tidying up and a heatsink probably, but it runs absolutely fine. No trouble at all. The 2 GB doesn't seem to get as hot. I don't know why that should be. It shouldn't make any difference at all. It's probably just my imagination, I expect. But this one didn't seem to be getting too hot without the heatsink at the minute. Just open like this. It wouldn't do so well in the box, obviously. But there we are. So that's the beginnings. I've had this lime for a long time actually, and so I thought it was time I made sure I had the right firmware and this, that, and the other. I think I must have set one setting wrong. I did have to actually invoke the menu option that has been put in there to revert back to original settings, so therefore I didn't have to write another card, which I was about to do. That's what I normally do, but I thought, let's try that, revert it back to the default, and sure enough, everything was fine after that. So I normally do them from this touchscreen because there is no touchscreen on this. It doesn't need a touchscreen, and so I chosen some menu option which was inappropriate, I think. So anyway, that's good. So now I'll be able to test receivers and such like. I did discover that this little satellite receiver here, this one is the gold one, the one with the gold on it, does DBBS2 1 megasymbol very well. H.264 as well. I think mine, it came up originally, I had it set up, originally it came up as MPEG video, which was not very pretty. But when I got the right option, put it to H.264, then the video was a whole lot better. So big difference in that actually. So there we are. Right, that's enough from me, I fancy. So now we're off to GW7BZY. Otherwise I tend to go on a bit. That's some people have noted it, I don't know, but there you go. Right, okay then, 7310 G4KLB. We probably could have done that more things, but that's probably enough.
GW7BZY. And with audio. I use the remote control to have a listen and then mute the microphone, but yeah. Okay, that's very fascinating. Okay, Colin, that was really good. Fascinated by the Winter Hill. I've read a little bit about it, but I didn't realise you could do all that. And whilst I've been saying I've probably got stuff working well enough by now, I am finding that the mini tune into the Windows computer doesn't seem to work as well as the BATC you're using. I don't know who particularly, but seems to hang on to the audio and the video better than my mini tune does. I would imagine that's probably down to the software or codecs not quite compatible. But anyway. So that looks really fantastic. I have got a mini tune software that's supposed to scan, but it doesn't seem to um, produce any video. So although it scans and receives, it doesn't actually show any video on screen. So I'm not going to use that. Anyway, so there we are. Fascinating stuff there, Colin, and everybody else. Good to see somebody with a garden and you know, a mixture of interests. I'm not much of a gardener myself. They're not really a thing. I like weed killer and blow lamp is my favourite sort of gardening. Otherwise, concrete and tarmac is my go-to, and some gravel maybe. But that's the much gardening as I'm going to do. I've just removed all the vegetation from my back property line, and I'm going to put in some having concrete posts in and a fence, and get rid of all that green stuff. So yes, I think that's going to be a project. The Winter Hill seems to be, I think, is going to be my next project. I'm into the ports down there, and I would be very much interested in it if I could input either any HDMI or any HDMI USB capture device, or you know, SDI. SDI would be the favourite. That's one standardised, well, practically standardised system. I think I know there's SDI standard resolution and HD, and probably some framing. So I don't know. Am I going on and off? I just think I've dropped, or maybe it's my receiver end. But anyway, trusting that I am still transmitting and moving about. Yes, probably. I'm going to hand it round to who's next, and that would be G3IUZ. Apologies, I haven't commented on some people I wanted to or should have. I haven't got myself a pyro. I'm written it down. Okay, 7B's a Claire.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. G3IUZ returning to the BATC Net. And thank you all very much indeed for comments and so on. And you must forgive me for particularly all of you who've worked so hard to produce the beast, calling it a Ryde, not a Winter Hill. You're probably getting fairly used to my memory lapses and using the wrong words or not even finding the right ones. So apologies for that. Yes, of course it's a Winter Hill. And yeah, I mean, congratulations to all concerned. It worked first time, and once I got my head around the various, the viewer and the controller and so forth, everything functions perfectly. And I see a comment earlier on from Rob about my problem might have something to do with no, what was it? Sorry, Rob. It's further. Where has it gone? You commented on it. On my problem, but I can't see it for the moment. Anyway, not to worry. I've got it working perfectly with the AnyHub being able to control it and look at the pictures on another screen on the Mac running Boot Camp, but I can't get it. I can't see the pictures with exactly the same setup on what is my standard Windows 10 PC. And the odd thing is I can see the data at the top line, that comes up all right, but no actual picture. Just the VLC cone, striped cone, but no actual video. So that's where my puzzlement stands at the moment. Thank you, Dave, for the reassurance about that's a more than adequate supply of NIMS. Sounds like it's a fairly fairly big box in a container somewhere on the high seas. Okay, that's fine. No, I'm delighted and impressed with the Winter Hill, and it is the fact that one can monitor more than one channel. With the Minituner, you have to hop around to look at the various signals, and if there are several up at the same time, and particularly if you want to work duplex, that just sounds very nice. So it'd be nice just to have the 4 screens simply because it's capable of it. I don't think I should follow your example, Colin, and build a second one. I think I've quite enough stuff kicking about here. So thanks for all the information, everybody, and all the interesting stuff that you're all progressing, and your prolific what should we call it, production line, Colin, remains impressive. So that's enough from me. Good night to you all. Thank you very much for the QSO as always, and it goes to Martin, a little further into Somerset, or a little further north in Somerset, Martin G8KOE. This is G3IUZ. Just go back to the test card, and when that pops up, we'll pass it.
Right, hopefully we're back on. Let's make sure we got a bit of sound before I kill it. Yep, I seem to have some sound. Well, this is probably my latest camera, shall we say. Just thought we'd demo it for a while. I did demo it earlier. I expect most people have realised what it is. If they haven't, we could zoom in on it. That's what it is. He says it's one of those. I succumbed to getting one. Just everybody else seems to be playing with them, so I thought I'd follow along. So that's it, and that's the result I get. I quite like the one angle side, and yeah, we might go over to the cat cam was the other thing I was going to go over to, and we're now happy. Now fed her. I managed to get her fed, so she's fast asleep. So all's good there. And you there, Roger. Apologies for not monitoring local 144.750. I was doing some tests and wasn't really concentrating on anything else. In fact, I think it was yesterday I was doing some tests and wondered why I couldn't get into H3, or was meant to be attempting to get an H3, and I was streaming to SQ. So I didn't even show the picture of the cat, did I? It comes from not showing it across. But there's the cat. She's fast asleep. I've done it this time with the cat cam. So she's happy. Let's go back to the not that one. We'll go back to the other camera. Oh yeah, we could go to that camera, couldn't we? And hit the magical buttons. Thought, well, there we go. And yeah, I've not got a lot else to add. I will try and but so at least I've made it two weeks in a row. I'll try and make it 3. So I think it's John to take it, isn't it, next? He's bound to have fun. And oh yes, thanks to Colin. I needed to make the extra while a cup of coffee, so if you on, boil it, take it in. I don't know why we dropped out then. I've noticed it's done that occasionally recently. It's almost as I don't know. It drops. that. So anyway, that's enough waffle from me. I'll stick the test card up and pass it round to you there, John. And good to see what you've been up to. It leaves me. I can't keep up with all the things you keep playing with. Anyway, 7 threes all.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll just click the close button instead of a minimize. Oh dear, it's been a long day. Right, very good evening all. Apologies for being late in the show, but I didn't manage to get away till about 8 today. Me, as always.
Looks like garage. So, Rosie garage. So G4X80, G72. So, Rosie garage.
Right, sorry folks. I was watching on the stream. Okay, I've been fiddling with the resolutions. I'm not convinced that looks any better to me. I'm sure the assembled masses will tell me. Okay, I've got a difference between the image size on the free stream coder and the choices I've got in. Yeah, still a bit soft. Okay, well it's not that then, is it? Alright, I won't bother waffling about that. I'll put it down to something else. Okay, this different resolution's thrown up. It's an on-the-go lead based on what John was showing last week. I tried that software on my recently replaced Android phone, but it's too old an Android version to run. So I thought, no worries, I'll plug it into my new Android phone, which is of course USB-C. So that's a USB-C connector to on the go. And of course, because I've packed everything away to go portable, I can't find either of my dongles to try it. But that's for SDR+++. It's zoomed in mic, but it's not. If I go to the device and configure video, camera control, default, zoom, then auto. No, I can't change any of that because I've custom chosen the discard. Right, whatever. Okay, what I would say is, shame about that noise. And interesting to note, I think that when I was portable a couple of weeks ago, I used a mag mount on the roof of my car in 2 meters, and my port stand swamped it. But when I use my full wave dipole up at about 8 meters on a fishing pole, I've not been troubled at all with noise. Okay, John, yeah, I'll have a look at that, but I'll do it off air. Thanks, Colin. That's the one to choose, right? Okay, I'll try that. So that and solar inverters. Well, our system here is as quiet as a mouse. There's no battery backup, but it was sharp. Focus issue. Okay. Yeah, you can see the grime under my fingernails, can't you? Okay, I'll look at it. I can't find my Polycom mini camera. I had that portable as well, and I'll put it somewhere. It'll come back. Yeah, right. My mini tuner problem. It wasn't the mini tuner. It was the dual output 12-18 volt supply I built a while back for it. That wasn't delivering its goods and was getting hot. So there's a fault in that which I've got to look at. I know I should build a BATC one, but that's another job. Okay, I think that'll do from me. I'm not very organised today, and I've still got the fans in the shack, as everyone can tell. I will try and do something about that for next Thursday. Well, I don't like to see the fans either, but I'd have to remote the amp and I'd have to run mains out there and so on. So anyway, 7-3's all. Nice to catch up. And gardening, well, yeah, I like my veg garden. I won't grow anything well except the tulips, unless I can eat it. So it's pesticide free, and it has been since we moved in. And yeah, mine's on custom as well, Colin. It is now, anyway. Whatever. Right, okay, test card, and shut up and pass it on to somebody. Transition. Now to you, I think, Dave. G8GKQ from G4X18.
G4X80, G8GKQ. If I can get the toggled mute to work, which it does. Good. Yes, Gareth, I'm not sure quite why it's not as sharp as it should be. This is a C920 into OBS. I think it's sharper than yours. Lip sync is off on the BATC stream. Yeah, I think Gareth's lip sync was off on the live transmission as well, Wolfgang. My apologies for the stream dropping out. FFmpeg hasn't been as reliable as it could be recently. This is the same setup as has been streaming for the net for the last 18 months or so, but it's not as happy as it could be, and it might be because I've got a four-way HDMI switch in circuit now, but have to have a look at that. Somebody mentioned about the ports down and HDMI input. It's a big problem. Basically, the Raspberry Pi 3 or 4 isn't man enough to take an HDMI input and H.264 encode it with any reasonable quality. It'll do it at SD quality, but there's no real point in that, which is why the Jetson project was so good. And in fact, tonight I'm coming to you through a Jetson controlled by a ports down. I've modified mine so I can do IPTS in from my laptop into the Jetson, but be controlled by the ports down. That is just so I don't have to switch the Lime USB lead between that and the ports down when I'm changing the mode I use. But HDMI, not so easy for a humble Raspberry Pi. Okay, I think that's about it for tonight. Thank you very much for all coming on. Hope you have a good Easter weekend. And thanks for coming up, John. CQTV article on HDMI. I don't like writing articles that say can't do. Yes, my Jetson is working with Portsdown 2020. I haven't tried it with Portsdown 4 just but it's a Portsdown 2020 I control mine with. Okay, that's about it. CQTV article for the Jetson. Possibly needs an update, yeah. Okay, good night all. G8GKQ closing the net and leaving the frequency clear. Cheers.